Alright, it's time for our second Chowline. Here we are. We are back with the Chowline. This, of course, comes from Barrel and Blade. And it comes from Barrel and Blade. And I did start this one early because in January we are going to be getting the Recon level Barrel and Blade to go along with the Chowline. And I'm thinking about upping the Chowline to 2. So I'll get, double Chowline, and I'll get the Barrel and Blade, the Recon level. So for now, let's get into the Chowline and let's see what we got this month. And we'll see what we missed out on by not having the Recon just yet. And I'm sure that we're going to have the mission drop in here. No mission drop, just the Chowline. Alright, so it's like this month for the Chowline, we got some more from Peak Refuel. Good quality. We got sweet pork and rice. Of course, they did send us 2, which is good because each of these is 2 servings. There's 2 servings, so this is 4 servings. So, and I do currently have a family of 4 here. So, this gets us each a serving, which is half the package. So, just half the package. So, calories for the whole package, 800. So, it's 400 calories each. So, that gets us 400 calories. 10% is 8 grams of fat, 1.5 grams of saturated, 0 grams of trans fat, 45 milligrams of cholesterol, 470 milligrams of sodium, 63 grams of your carbohydrates, 5 of that is dietary fibers, 26 grams of sugars, added sugars, 22 grams, and protein, 20 grams. So 20 grams of protein, that's pretty important. A lot of the meals you get, like if you buy those bucket meals, there's like virtually no protein in those, and so it's missing. And so that's why it's always a good idea to beef up your food preps with something else. Whether you use canned foods, dehydrated food, dehydrated meats or anything. These food dry meals, these things are great because these are good for 25 years. Well, this one says 11. It says best by July of 2035. So, and of course, as you start building up a supply of these, you work through them. These are pretty good. You can take these camping, hiking. These things are fantastic. All you have to do, boil some water, add your water to it. There's up here, you can feel there's a seal here. Right here, there's a seal. So you open it right here. There's a notch. Right underneath that, there's a vacuum seal. So you put the water in, you seal it up. It holds all that heat and moisture in. And then after 5, let's see here. Open pouch and tear mark. Remove oxygen absorber. Yeah, make sure you take out the do not eat. Then you add 1 1/4 cups, 10 ounces boiling water. Stir well. Zip pouch closed. Let stand for 10 minutes. Open it, stir it, and you can eat. And if you're in a bad situation where it's cold, you're hungry, warm food going into your body is the best thing you can do. And there's plenty of calories in this. If you're by yourself, you can just eat all of it at once. And probably, if you're by yourself and you heat this up, you probably will eat the whole thing because it's not like you can really store it. So, sweet pork sauce with vegetables, red bell peppers, corn, black beans, salt, brown sugar, canola oil, onions, lime powder, cumin, paprika, salt, cilantro, garlic, pepper, red chili flakes, instant white rice, pre-cooked long grain rice, niacin, iron, thiamine, folic acid, and then you get your cooked, seasoned pulled pork. So the last ingredient in there is pulled pork, but that it's going to be mainly you get your rice and your vegetables in there. It looks pretty good. If you look at the picture there, Now, as we start getting more of these types, I definitely want to take a look at these. When we get out, we're gonna out there. We'll do some hiking and fishing and stuff. We'll take these along to give them a try. And again, to be honest, this is, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Peak Refuel is not cheap. And these meals are, I'll be honest, the subscription is probably a little bit pricier than what you could, if you could find these for. You know, if you live somewhere where you have, hold on. Ooh. Ooh, sorry. If you live somewhere where you have easy access to freeze-dried meals like this, then it might be cheaper to go out and buy them. So, I know that our Walmart, I mean, they have like Mountain House, which is not as good as Peak Refuel. I mean, these are better than what I can buy out in town. I think that, where else has them? They have, I think, ReadyWise on base. They sell like ReadyWise at you know, so they have like some. So I have a couple options. The Big Five will occasionally have some Backpackers Pantry, and some. Oh, what's the other brand that they carry? They carry like 2 or 3 brands. Mountain House, Backpackers Pantry, and something else. But nowhere in my area can I get the Peak Refuel. And these are good. And a lot of those other ones, they're just 1 servings. So, you know, this is 2 servings. These are a little bit bigger than the ones you buy at like the ones you get at Walmart. Those are single serve, I believe. I think in fact, I have some here. Just to give me just a minute here. I can tell you. So let's see here. So we picked this one. Okay, this one we got on base. And so this was actually 2.5 servings. And I think we paid like $9 for it or something like that. But on base, it is a little bit cheaper. You don't pay tax or anything. But, I mean, one, this is teriyaki chicken and rice. But if you look at it, right, this right here, this is only 250 calories per serving. And there's only 620 calories in the whole thing. This one has 800 calories. So these ones, you get more calories in these than some of these others, and it's also good to have different flavors. So that's another important thing, because, you know, like last week we did get this country bison bowl, and these ones are lower. These ones have 930 calories per container. So they're very calorically dense. Let's see here. Let's see here. This one here we got from our SHTF box, and we just got one of these, and this was in our advanced. And this is a breakfast. It's 680 calories. And that's the breakfast skillet. And of course, here's a breakfast skillet from ReadyWise. It's only 470 calories. So I mean, you think that this whole container is only 470 calories. The Peak Refuel is 680 calories. So you're getting, like, 1 calorie is almost 200. This is 340 for 1 serving. So you get a lot more calories out of the Peak Refuel. And if you look, I mean, they take up almost the same amount of space. So that's why. And then here you have, like, some cookie treats, you know, 510 calories, but it's just sugar. And so that's why. Then here, oh yeah, here's another one. This is one we also got from our SHTF box, the biscuits and sausage gravy. This has 570 calories per serving, 1,100 calories in this package right here. This was a little bit. So I mean, the Peak Refuel is really good, and so I think that it's easier to justify the cost of the subscription, because after shipping it's like almost $40 for 2 packages. Now I'm hoping in January, when I add the Recon and an additional Chowline, the shipping is going to come down. I mean, it's going to be a little bit more shipping, but I think that by having it all shipped in one box, we're going to save a little bit, and it's going to come out being a lot better bang for our buck. But I do, and I don't work for Barrel and Blade. I'm not sponsored by Barrel and Blade. I have no affiliation with them. But I do think that's the old one. I do think that this is a good subscription to get. I personally, I love these freeze dried meals, and I look forward to being able to use these, hiking, camping, whatnot. But they're also fantastic to add to your food storage. Here, I got MREs too. I bought some MREs online, and it's just I pay like a third of the price online for your MREs than when I do on base. And having that long-term shelf-stable food source like the Chowline is a game changer. It's very lightweight. The downside to the so we got the sweet pork. Okay, so the downside is as opposed to this. So you got MREs, right? MREs, they're ready to eat, right? Meal ready to eat. These ones, you have to have access to water. If you can't boil water, these ones are not going to do any good. They're not. So that's why it's good to vary your preps. Why it's good to vary the type of meals that you have. Because if you don't have water, then the freeze-dried meals are not going to do you much good. So that's one thing to bear in mind. Now, the good thing about the freeze-dried meals is that if you follow the directions, maybe you might need to use a little bit extra water depending on your elevation. But the good thing about those is they're a very efficient use of the water you have, because you're not wasting any water. You're using just the right amount of water that you need to go in there. And if it's, let's say right here, so the sweet pork, so it says 1 1/4 cup boiling water, and that's boiling liquid. So like, let's say that you have this, and let's say that you have like a can of black beans and a can of corn. Well, you can drain off the liquid from those, boil that liquid, put the liquid in here so you can rehydrate everything, and then after it's cooked up, you could add the corn and the black beans and mix that in, and you can actually stretch the meal out even more. Just an option. I'm just saying, because a lot of times if you do have canned goods on top of your freeze-dried as well as your dehydrated foods, you can really stretch your meals out, and you get a little more calories, but you're also making you're saving the water to drink. You're using resources that you already have, and that's why canned goods are so good. Because if you think about it, a can of corn, there's a lot of liquid in a can of corn. It's mainly, there's corn in there, but there's a lot of liquid in there. Well, because you can cook the corn in that liquid. Well, you can use that liquid to boil water for your freeze-dried meals. And if it's something that complements the meal, you're actually going to add a little bit of flavor, but you're also going to add a little bit more nutrition to it as well. So just something to think about. But this is from Barrel and Blade. Again, January we're going full into Barrel and Blade. I just have to wait until after taxes and after we get everything situated with the house and everything, after we're all ironed out. But starting next year, January, we will be going full on Barrel and Blade, Recon level. Like I said, if we would have gotten Recon level from last month, we would have gotten a lot of good stuff. We would have gotten the plate carrier, a machete, a small knife, and then that Go Reel rodless fishing kit. So I'm surprised we didn't get one of these, but that's okay. Next month January we'll be getting all the stuff on top. We're not gonna do the knife of the month. It's just too expensive for a knife. I have good knives. I don't need to get an expensive knife every month. I get cheap knives every month. If they break, I don't care. So, that's it. Yeah, but this is it. This is about the Chowline. That is it. You got your sweet pork and rice. So far we have gotten our country bison bowl and our sweet pork and rice. This has turned out to be, in my opinion, a very good subscription. We're getting some good meals. We're getting meals the last 25 plus years. And hey, if you're in a grid down situation, that's gonna be very important. But hey, let me know what you think. If you've tried that meal, let me know. Again, right now, I don't want to just try it to try it. If I'm out camping or hiking or something, that's a different story. Because then we're definitely going to use those because that's what they're designed for. So I have been talking to the head office, the wife, and I do plan on doing some overnights now that things are starting to look a lot better. I'm going to be able to take a little bit more time off of work. So if I don't have to work as much, I'm going to have more time to dedicate to my channels, because starting in January, I am boosting a second YouTube channel, and we're going to do stuff like completely different from this one. So, you might want to check that one out too. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to call it. I'm thinking about changing the title of it, but basically it's going to be everything but survival. I'm going to talk about movies, restaurants. We're going to do, sports cards, games, stuff like that. Just more of a family, type. Surviving is one thing, right? But living is why you survive. And so, you can have all the preps and everything, but if you're not living, then what's the point of surviving? And so that's why, you got crazy techs in survival and prepping, and then you got crazy techs in living. And so you have to live. Surviving is pointless if you're not going to live. So, but that's coming up in January. That one's going to kick off too. I've already been uploading videos to that, so when it kicks off, it's going to be already preset for a few months, so that I don't have to worry about that like on a completely daily basis. But I'm hoping that these channels kick off, and I love doing this stuff. This is a lot of fun for me. Right. Until next time, keep prepping.